Story time on how I found out my dad was molesting my 4-year-old daughter. I'm not doing these for attention, for clout, for none of that. If I can tell my story and help somebody else, that's what I'm gonna do. First thing I want to say is pay attention to your kids. Your girls, your boys, pay attention. It was the smallest thing that brought everything to light. Something that I could have absolutely overlooked, and I did not. Because I pay attention to my child, I look at everything. I pay attention to everything when it comes to her. I be paranoid, and it comes from my own childhood trauma. But anyways, so my dad lived about 2 hours from us. I had just finished school and I was about to start my extern. My husband worked during the day, and I needed somebody to watch my daughter while I did my extern because she wasn't in school at the time. So my husband drove 2 hours, picked my dad up, brought my dad back to our house. So I started my extern. Everything was going good. Y'all, I ain't never told nobody this, but I was already paranoid. Like, it was something. I was paranoid that whole week. It was like little small stuff that was being done that kind of had me uneasy. But okay, so the first thing was one day my husband was about to drop me off at my extern. It was like 8 in the morning. My daughter was in our room because my dad was in her room. So my baby was in the bed asleep. My husband and I, we were leaving the house, and we were outside, I want to say maybe 30 to 45 seconds, because my husband, when we got in the car, he realized that he left something. And he got up to go in the house, and when he got to our bedroom door, my dad was at the door. Mind you, my baby is in there asleep. It's like 8 in the morning. Before we left out the house, we told him that she was sleeping. That was weird to me, but then again, you couldn't tell him nothing about his grandchild. He loved his grandchild. I was thinking, like maybe she was whining or something and he went to check on her, but my husband was like, she sleep. Okay. So another time, it was like my second or third day of my extern, my baby was playing in there with him. And she came out and she was just standing in the living room. And I could see his shadow in the hallway, like with his hand, he was like beckoning her to come back to where he was, but he would never say it out loud, which was weird because if just call her name. But it was like he was silently beckoning her, like he didn't want us to hear or see that he was calling her in the back where he was. Okay. After that, I don't know, I think I wasn't even a week into my extern when we found this out. Like, okay, he was doing little weird stuff, just weird stuff. And mind y'all, like I said, I lived with my dad my whole life. He got a bunch of nieces, a bunch of granddaughters. Everybody loved him, man. Ain't nobody ever said nothing out the way about him. No rumors. He ain't never did nothing to nobody. Like, he was just a host of fun. Everybody loved him. Like, that's why I'm shocked and hurt, like, to this day. Like, it still bothers me every day. But anyways, so one day, my baby, she came in there, like, she was still, like, at night, she had, like, she was, at the time, she was still, like, with the bed. So she had on a pull-up because it was nighttime and she was getting ready to go to bed. So she lay out on the couch and she put her hand in her pull-up. So red flag, flag on the play. I don't play that. Why your hands in your pull-up? But of course, I was like, babe, why you got your hand right there? Like, what's wrong? Where you get that from? Somebody did that to you? I'm asking questions. She was like, yes. So, I already know. When you questioning a child, you do not say a name. Like, you don't say nobody's name. Because, that child can just go with whatever you're saying. So, I'm just like, somebody did that to you? I didn't say no name. Mind you, the only men in our house is my husband and my dad. And it could have been a woman. I got a bunch of cousins, whatever. It could have been a woman. So my husband, my dad, and sometimes my brother come around. But yeah, at the time it was just us three in the house. So I'm like, somebody did that to you? And she like, yeah. So I don't want to say her name. So I'm like, okay, baby, who did that? She was like, Pawpaw. That's what she called my dad. I'm like, Pawpaw, I'm trying to get some clarity. Pawpaw changed you. Pawpaw, what, wiped you? Took you a bath? I can't say exactly what it was that she did. She showed me what he did. And she also said something that he did. And my heart just dropped. Like, dropped. I was crying so bad. I told my husband and my dad got into an altercation. And yeah, I called my auntie. My auntie lived down the street from me, and I told her, and she was like, "Oh, I just don't believe he did that. I don't believe." Mind you, this my auntie on my mama's side. She was like, "I don't believe he did that." Wait, I gotta do a part 2.
Why? Just why? Your own grandbaby. Your own grandbaby. I gotta find part 2 for y'all before I even get into anything. But that's crazy. Let me find part 2 real quick.
Part 2 on how I found out my dad was saying my 4-year-old. And I'm emotional because I done recorded this part 2 like twice and they keep deleting, and I'm wondering if that's a sign like to just stop and let it go. But no. Okay, like I said, I called my auntie. My auntie was a police at the time in the town that we lived in. So, and she stayed right down the street. So naturally, I'm going to call my auntie. I called my auntie. She came over. And I don't know if it was because I had just broke down crying or because my husband and my dad had just had a argument and was yelling. But when my auntie started asking my baby questions, she would not answer the questions. And my auntie literally told me right there in my face, like, okay, I don't believe this. And it's, my auntie might see this. Auntie, no hard feelings, but yeah, that hurt me. Anyways, so I'm getting emotional, y'all. Hold up. Okay, so my auntie said she didn't believe it and told me to take my baby to the hospital, which I was gonna do anyway. I ain't see anything, but I still wanted to take her to get checked up. So we took her to the hospital. When the doctor came in, she told us off jump, like, usually you don't find no type of physical evidence with cases like that. But my baby ended up telling the doctor the same thing that she told us. And they called, okay, we went to the hospital in Memphis because it's the closest hospital to the children's hospital. in Memphis. It's the closest children's hospital near us, even though we stay in Mississippi. So they end up calling the police from Mississippi, because that's where we lived, to the hospital in Memphis. And the police they call, that's the station that my auntie work in. So they came, took our statements or whatever, and the doctor had just told us that she saw something, and it could have came from constipation, like some strain with constipation, or it could have came from something else. And they could have taken her somewhere else and did an invasive testing, but it wasn't recommended. So I told my auntie that, and like I said, the woman wasn't sure where it came from, and I didn't want to do the invasive testing, so of course that's not going in nobody's paperwork or whatever. So my auntie was getting access to the files or whatever. So she called, like, talking about she didn't see anything about what I had just said. Of course you don't see it. We don't even know if that's where it came from, That upset me so bad, because you don't believe her, and now you looking at files talking about what you don't see. So anyways, they made it to where my auntie couldn't even access those files anymore, because I was so upset. And hardly nobody. Well, at first everybody was like, "Oh, that's so sad, and he wrong for that." But a year later, everybody his best friend, y'all. Everybody his best friend. Everybody, I talk to him, and he miss y'all, and this, that, the third, y'all. My family, my mama people. Oh, you don't think she got that off YouTube? What's YouTube? Yeah, that is so hurtful. For people to doubt your child, that's hurtful. But I
honestly feel like this happens a lot in like today's time, and it's like the people in the household, they don't take this sexual assault, they don't take it seriously, where it's like everybody just brushing it underneath the rug. They know what's going on, but yet brushing underneath the rug. Just like the same thing with Jarvis Butts and Anaya Harris. Like, these people know what's going on in this household, and yet they don't want to nip it in the butt and let these folks know, like, that's wrong. It's just like, that shit just be crazy.
understand a little bit because of his character. Like I said, we all grew up together. My cousins, I got plenty of girl cousins. He got plenty of granddaughters, nieces. He never did this to none of us. None of us, y'all. He never made us feel uncomfortable in no type of way. My mom died when I was 14 years old. I lived with my dad my whole life. He got full custody of me. My dad never made me feel uncomfortable. He never did nothing to me. Never said nothing to me out the way. But the way my daughter said what she said, the way she demonstrated what he did to her, I would be a fool to deny my child. I would be a fool to just sweep that under the rug and be like, "Oh, she 4 years old. She don't know what."
And I'm glad as her as a mom is actually, I think she said that it happened to her before or something like that. But I'm glad that her as a mom, she's actually taking the initiative to believe her child, because that'd be step number one. These parents, these moms, they don't be believing in girls, and it's like they start to build up this animosity towards their mom for when they get older. It's like they done created this bridge in between the relationship where it's just like, baby, you don't even believe me, so why would I try to? How can I trust you and stuff like that? It's a sad case.
She talking about that came off YouTube. Y'all, these folks set up an interrogation for my baby 2 weeks after this incident happened. And I thought, yeah, it's 2 weeks later. My baby ain't gonna remember that. Y'all, when there's some truth to what your child is saying, one thing about it, when you lie or when you being untruthful, it's hard to remember. But 2 weeks later, my 4-year-old went into the interrogation room with the police, the CPS worker, and the child therapist and repeated the same thing. She even told them stuff that she didn't even tell us because she was afraid to tell us. 45-minute long interrogations 2 weeks later. She did what needed to be done. That's the exact thing that the CPS worker said to me when they came out of their room. She was like, she did a good job. She said what needed to be said. They sent that tape over to a grand jury or something like that, y'all. That was a year ago. I don't know what's going on. So I've been messed up. I can't lie. My dad was literally all I had. All I had. My best friend, literally. So the fact that he did this to us, and I gotta sit up here a whole year later, and my baby come to me and she say she miss her papa. My baby want to see him. She wants to go to his house. She want to know why he didn't just apologize. She said, Mama, why didn't we just let him apologize? Why didn't we do that in the first place? Why he couldn't apologize like a real friend do? I had to explain to her, it don't work like that, baby. What he did, that's not right. You can't just let somebody do that to you and forgive them. She don't understand. And I'm fighting with this every day because not only did this happen to my child, but I lost my best friend in the midst of that. Because if you know me, you know that my daddy was literally my best friend. I'm talking about on the phone 4 and 5 times a day. Like, that's what kind of bond we had. And people want to know, like, why I be so angry at my family. Like, why wouldn't I be? I'm getting emotional. I gotta go.
Y'all can hear the pain in her voice, like how affected she is about this situation. It's so sad that she has to deal with that. And even like just losing somebody that you real close with, a parent, like, and they're not even dead. You're literally still going through like a grieving process. I bet that's so hard. I hope she could find peace somewhere, somehow in this situation. Just pray, ask God to forgive your heart, not even to forgive him, because what he did is already done. But we're not supposed to just go around hating people. So just ask for a little forgiveness in your heart and just love him from a distance. That's all you can do, honestly. It's a sad situation, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Put your comments in the comment section down below, and stay tuned for the next video. Yeah, make sure y'all comment and let me know what type of videos y'all want to see, because right now I'm just on like this thing where I'm just posting to see whatever goes or whatever. But I want to give y'all good quality content, so I want to know what y'all are watching, because you guys are my audience and I want to know what you guys like seeing. So make sure you put that in the comment section down below also. I was stuttering, my bad. But yeah, put that in the comment section down below also, and stay tuned for the next video. Support the brand, y'all.